Hello, sweetie darlings. Welcome to Gold Magazine's The Cheeky Geek with your host, Shavon. And guess what? I'm Shavon. On today's show, we have the lovely and talented Gina Yashere.
Yay!
Okay, she has so many accolades, y'all. I went to her website and the Googles and the Wikipedias, and I was like, I cannot memorize and or write all this stuff down. So I'm going to go through some of the stuff, and I wanted you to talk about some of the stuff, too. That's how I like to do my intros. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about, right?
What?
Is you're an international comedian.
Yeah, that's right.
That is so fly.
I have to be. I live in America, but I'm not from here.
That's true. All right. Enough with the don't start with the America hate, right?
Okay. Where was the hate coming from?
I
live here.
I don't know.
I love it here.
Okay, listen. I want to be from the UK because I'm an Anglophile, but we can talk about that later, right?
All right.
Okay. So you do comedy here.
Yes.
In the UK.
Yes.
All over the Far East.
Yes.
And even Australia, too?
Yeah.
How is that?
I love it. Australian audiences are some of the best because they don't care. There's no political correctness. There's no nothing. They just laugh at what they find funny, which I like. I like a bit in between. I don't want redneck racist audiences, but I don't like the far left audiences that like censor themselves. They're like, oh, is the black person laughing? Oh, they are. Okay, we can laugh. I hate that. I want somewhere in the middle where people just want to have a good time and laugh. Right. So Australian audiences are that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So what about when you do comedy in like Singapore?
Yes.
They understand your nuances and the idioms and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the comedy, the internet has opened up the world.
Right, of course.
Comedy.
Of course.
And a lot of places, they speak very good English. Like I've done shows in Malaysia, shows in Singapore, shows in China. Whoa. And you get a mixture of expat audiences.
Yes,
so you've got like Americans, Canadians, Australians living abroad. But you've also got in Malaysia, there's a huge scene building up, a comedy scene of Malaysian comics. Comics born and bred in Malaysia doing comedy. And they do it in their own language and they mix in English as well. So they do both. And they watch a lot of comedy. And so the English is great and they understand. As long as your comedy is not too parochial, it's not too,
regional.
Yeah, too regional. Then you're good to go. And because I travel so much, I tend to have jokes about all the places I've been to. So I'll go to Malaysia and I've got 10 minutes of material just about Malaysia, you know. So it works well.
That's fascinating. Absolutely. Okay, so the other thing that I thought was amazing, you're the only British comedian to be on Def Comedy Jam?
Oh, yeah, I was the only British comic that ever did it, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Def Comedy Jam was such a staple in my household. I probably shouldn't have been watching it because it was full of sex and yada, yada, yada.
Motherfucker, bitch, what? Nigga, what? That stuff.
But it was great because it was black culture, which I am pro-black all day, and it was amazing. And I remember the laughing and the audiences would like jump and like run to the like
and if they didn't like you, they let you know about it as well.
Yes, that's true. That's true. They definitely were booing people. But they didn't put that part on television.
They took a lot of it out, but a lot of comedians, they got booed.
So how was your experience?
It was fantastic. So what happened, I'd moved to LA. But first, I got to LA doing Last Comic Standing. So that's how I got to America.
Right.
I was on Last Comic Standing. And they got me a work visa. And I've always, you're an Anglophile. I've wanted to live in America since I was 6.
What?
You guys have better toys than us. You guys, when I was 6, I don't know, do you remember the bazooka gums?
Of course I do.
Right.
The grape was my favorite flavor because I'm black and that's how we do.
That's how you do. Right. We used to get the bazooka gums, but you'd unwrap them and you get the little cartoon.
The comic,
the comic, right? And then you get the toys that you could order.
Yes, you could. Did you really
we never got
them?
the toys.
Nobody really ordered them, though.
Yeah, but we didn't know because we didn't get the toys because it was American toys and it was in America. So it had an American number on it. Yeah. And I couldn't, my mum wasn't letting me dial no American number from my English phone when I was a kid. So we couldn't get any of the toys and they didn't deliver to England. So I was God, I need to be in America. They get better toys than us. And then I'd watch TV shows and all the kids in America had bikes and they all had lovely square lawns.
Television lies to you, child.
Well, exactly. That's what I thought. So I wanted to live in the States since I was 6. I used to say to my mum, like, why did you left Nigeria? Why did you go to England? Why did you go to Miami or somewhere? So when I got on Last Comic Standing and they gave me a 2-year work visa, I was like...
Free for all.
Yeah, I was like, does that mean I can live and work in America for 2 years? And they were like, yeah. So as soon as I got through to the final, I flew back to England. I put my house on the market.
I know, that's right.
I sold and gave away everything I owned.
We out here, bitch.
Yeah, and I threw a massive party saying goodbye to all my friends and family.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, I'm moving to America. They're like, you've only got a 2-year visa. Don't you worry about that. I'm going to make this work out. This shit's going to work out. So goodbye, everybody. So I threw this party, gave away everything, sold my house, and literally landed in America with 2 suitcases to
I
my
know
name.
that's right.
Yeah. So,
You're going to make it here, make it anywhere.
and that's it. So that's how I got here. And then after Last Comic Standing, I was running around LA doing the comedy
The circuit,
clubs and the Def Comedy Jam. The guys saw me there. They had like an audition for people who wanted to be on Def Comedy Jam, and that was at the Comedy Store in LA.
Yes.
And I didn't know about the audition. I was just there doing a set. And all these people went on and they were all really nervous. And I remember Damon Wayans Jr.
Oh, my
So that's
goodness.
Damon Wayans' son.
Right.
Went on and absolutely destroyed the place.
Really?
And so the other comedians that were auditioning were like, we don't want to go next. We don't want to go after him. We don't want to go next. They're like, we need someone to go next. And I was like, listen, I don't give a fuck. I'll go
that's
next.
right.
I don't
Tell
give
him,
a shit.
Gina.
I've been doing this a long time. I can handle it. I can ride that wave. So I went on and crushed. And
That's
then
right.
so the people who were there were like, well, who's this girl?
That's right.
And that's basically how I got on Def Comedy Jam. They were like, who's this girl? We want her number. And then they called me and were like, we'd like you to perform on Def Comedy Jam. And I knew the show, but, I was like, yeah, that's great. How much are you paying
I know
me?
that. Where them
That was the first
dollars
thing.
at?
I was like, what's the money? So that's how I got on the show. And it was a great show. It was really good
amazing.
fun. And by the time it recorded, I'd been in LA 6 months. So I'd been working all the American clubs, doing all the urban rooms. So I knew how to play the crowd. So
Yes.
people were like, are you nervous? This is a big thing. You're the only British comic ever. And I'm like, to me, it's just another gig. At that point, I'd been doing comedy 10 years already.
You was
So I
like
was
brushed
like,
out off your shoulders, man.
I was like, it's just another gig. I'm from England. I know you guys don't know who I am because you're American, but in England, I'm a star. Yeah, so I'm used to TV. This is not a
I
biggie.
do this.
So everybody was like, oh my God. And I was like, it's just another stand-up show. And I've done hundreds of them. So yeah.
That's
But it was fun. I
amazing.
had a good time.
Did they look at you funny when they heard you speak, like automatically?
Oh yeah, I've got jokes about that. As soon as I come on stage and I start talking, I'm like, yeah, I am not like the others. And that's how I did. And so obviously the audiences were like, wow, what is this?
Yes.
So yeah, it gives me an advantage. And obviously I've
that's
got
right.
the goods to back it up. So that's all.
I love that confidence, Gina. I love it. See, I know
I've
now.
been
I know you
doing
live
this-
in New York. See, that's
I've been
good.
doing this a very long time. That
know
was
that's
like
right.
back in 2007, which
Yes.
is 9 years ago. So I've been in comedy nearly 20 years,
Wow, that's fantastic. So let's talk about you comedy, right? So you had
Yeah.
a Comedy Central special, and then you had a Showtime special, and you have a new special out.
Yes, I literally just shot a new special in London. Well, I shot it last year. So about 6 months ago, I shot a special in London. It's my third special. So
Tell it.
It's called Ticking Boxes, or in America, as you call it, Checking
Check boxes.
Yeah, because people go, what is ticking? What do you mean by ticking? I'm like, that's how we say it in England. We don't check boxes, we tick them. It's a tick.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And so I shot that in London. That's my third special. I was on tour in the UK, and my last date was at the O2 Academy, Brixton Academy in London, and it was 2,500 seater, and it was sold out. So I was like,
yeah.
I think I should film this. I
know
think
that's
I need to get
right.
this filmed, because I didn't know whether I was going to do a special because I was still working out the material on the tour.
Right.
So I called the guy who shoots all my specials, and I was like, listen, I might be shooting a special. What's the latest time before the gig that I can tell you it's a yes? And he was like, I need 2 weeks notice. So I was like, I'll give you 2 weeks notice.
I'll do that then.
Yeah, so 2 weeks before the show, I was like, all right, we're shooting this. I
Nice.
think I've got the material. Let's go.
So your audience, the English audience or the British audience, depending on who's about, right?
Yeah.
Are they not mostly black, but is Brixton? Because Brixton is black folks live there, right?
Brixton used to be black folks, but Brixton's gone the way of Harlem and Brooklyn. It's very gentrified
that
now.
sounds like
very
gentrification.
gentrified. So,
Is it?
but the venue is just an iconic venue. So people come from all over the country to go to that venue. Like I saw Public Enemy there when I was 19. You know,
Nice.
so. It's a mixture. My audience, though, is a mixture. When I first started doing comedy and I got on TV in England, I was on a black television show, so my audience was 99% black.
Right.
And then I got on a TV show called The Lenny Henry Show, and Lenny Henry's like a institution in England. Black comic, but his audience is very mainstream.
Right.
So when I got on his show and I did stuff on his show, then my audience changed and became mixed. So my audience is black, white, young, old, gay, straight. You go to one of my shows and everybody's in there. And I love that because my thing is I can make anybody laugh. I don't have a niche, so to speak. So,
it's true. You are, listen, you are funny. I laugh. So it's tested there in that respect. So since you mentioned gay, tell me about the lesbian scene over in the UK.
It's better in Brooklyn.
I know that's right.
There's a massive lesbian scene. There's a gay scene. So there's a lot of gay people in England. But I never really went out that much on the scene. I went out a little bit, but not that much.
Really?
Because I was so busy traveling the world doing comedy. I never really... I go to the odd party, go to the odd clubs, and I've got a friend who runs her own event called Colourful Pink, and she does parties and events, so I go over for those and stuff, and I'm performing at Pride. So we have got a great scene.
Okay.
We do have a good scene.
Okay.
But I like the American scene better.
Yes.
Yeah, especially in New York.
That's right. It's the birthplace, so of course.
It's a good scene. It's a good scene.
So, tell me about what kind of women do you like?
What kind of women?
Tall, short?
I have no preference.
Oh. Wait,
mainly,
are you single, though?
I'm not single. My current girlfriend.
Oh, you're not fucked up out there.
I'm talking to my girlfriend the other day, and I was like, because my girlfriend right now, my girlfriend's white.
Okay.
But all before that, it was all black women.
Right.
So when I met her, I was like, nah. No, I'm into black women. But then she was, you can't help who you fall in love with.
Of course.
It was like her smile, her personality.
Yes.
So I was like, when I met you, I was like, nah, no white women for me. I'm strictly black women. No. But so that's the thing.
Okay.
I would have said if you'd asked me 4 years ago,
right,
I'd have gone, black women. That's
right.
Tall, short, big, skinny, light skin, dark skin. I'm not that bothered either.
Right.
But so now since I moved to America, actually, my taste, not my taste, but I've been sort of exposed to a wider range of women. So since I moved to America, black girlfriends, I've had a Filipino girlfriend, which I'd never met a Filipino before I moved to America. So because I was living in LA and I never went out with any LA women.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I did.
Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, LA. I did not like LA women. So,
well.
My girlfriends were from Oakland, Chicago, and New York. That's all. So Oakland, Chicago, New York. That's where my women come from.
That's where you want to get a queen. That's where you go. But okay.
LA was not happening at all.
All right. So another very important question.
Okay.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Inquiring minds want to know, Gina.
Okay. So a superpower that I always wish I had, but then I go, it's probably going to be a curse, is knowing exactly what people are thinking. I'd love to be a mind reader, but then again, I want to be able to switch it on and off. Mm-hmm. Just so I can go, I know what you're thinking.
It's a gift.
I'd love to do that. or just go into like meetings with TV executives and they're like, oh, we love your stuff. And I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you don't.
In your mind, you just said that we don't like her face and we think she's fat. I'd love to be able to just say that. So definitely a mind reader. Invisibility also is another good one.
Invisibility, okay. So what would you do with that?
I'd want to be able to switch it on and off. Again,
it's a gift and a curse. That's what Spider-Man said.
Go into meetings and then come out afterwards and
then
go back in and listen in. Mm-hmm. Love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are the two. I'm a bit of a stalker and snooper. These are all to do with listening to other people's conversations.
Yes, about
whether they be
though.
in a room or in their head.
You though. No, that's good.
What's yours though?
I think I wanted. Well, my favorite superhero, she's kind of a rogue, is Mystique.
Oh my God, I fucking love Mystique.
She's my favorite.
My God, I love Mystique.
She's blue, right? Blue's my favorite color, internets, right?
Yeah.
And she can shapeshift, which is beautiful because I think in general we all wear the mask in different places and different environments. We change all the time, and she can do that literally. And she's also awesome because she works for herself. If she want to work for the good guys, give me the money. The bad guys, what y'all doing? All right, fine, I work with y'all. I give me the money. I just want to live, and I like that.
Well, here's something geeky.
Tell me.
There was a show that was out when I was very young. It was on in England. It was made in the 70s. And it was a show
Doctor Who?
No, it was a show called
favorite.
Space 1999. Yeah, because 1999 was so far in
away.
the future. And there was a woman here who was the predecessor to Mystique. She was a shapeshifter.
Whoa.
But she could become animals and other people.
Oh, look
I don't
at
even know.
that.
Space 1999.
I'm about to Google that.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's even on Google. That's how old this show was.
It is. It definitely
was made in the 70s, and she could turn into animals and shit. And I loved her. She
That's
just
amazing.
and she would just become someone else. But yeah, the X-Men.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Love the X-Men.
This is a follow-up question. Would you rather have sex with a superheroine or a supervillainous?
So is Mystique Villainous though?
I think I'm
She's
telling you, I think
kind of-
I think it depends on who got the check.
Yeah,
Who got the money and who will further her agenda.
because Mystique is hot.
Super hot.
Mystique,
But not the
is
movie.
she a heroine or is she
The comic. Because in the movie, she
Right.
looks like a reptile, and that's disgusting, and her skin is buttery smooth and blue. And the comic, so she's not like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never read the comics.
So you better get on it. You gotta get on it. You better get
well,
on
then
it.
definitely Mystique. I'd give her some.
Ooh.
Rub some of that blue on me, baby.
Okay. All right. So one of the most fascinating things, there's so many fascinating things about you, but one of the most, you used to work, a lift operator, but for the people who don't know what lift is, it's an elevator.
Not an
right?
operator,
Engineer. Right.
Yes, I used to build and repair lifts / elevators. I did. I built.
And stroke means slash for
Yeah.
people who don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
got
I
it.
used to work for Otis, which is the biggest elevator. In fact, that was another first. I was the first female engineer that Otis had ever had. I think in England, it might have been worldwide, but I'm not sure. But definitely in the UK, the first in their 100-year history in Britain, first female qualified female.
What was that
engineer.
like? Working
Horrible.
with all those men.
Horrible.
And the things you must have heard.
Horrible.
Really?
Horrible. So I was young. I came in quite young. So straight out of school, college, went straight into that. I came in quite highly qualified because I was studying in the evening. So I got my degree and basically studied. So I came in higher qualified than the guys who'd kind of worked their way from apprenticeship level. And I came in sort of above an apprentice, but qualified. So I was basically on a higher pay grade than them. They didn't like that. And I was a woman. They didn't like
Didn't
that.
like that.
And I was black.
Black.
They
They
didn't
definitely didn't like that.
So I worked on building sites. So, on a building site, there's no HR to protect you from.
Right.
So I'd come in the morning, there would be pictures of monkeys and bananas and shit hung above my helmet. Stuff like that. I put up
Did
with a
you
lot.
flip out?
Yeah, I had to
You'd
pull
be like, fuck this shit, man.
you never knew who did it, but there was a couple of conversations. There was one guy who was so very racist, because they're all, they talk about it in public. We ain't having no niggas living next door to us, all this kind of stuff. And this guy was a big culprit. And one day I just pulled him aside and said, listen, if I hear you use that word in front of me again, I got a couple of big N words in my family. And I know where you live, and I will send them round there.
I know that's right.
So he never spoke to me again, and it was cool after that.
No,
but
that's
yeah,
good.
I had a lot of
Interesting.
problems, but I was good at my job, so I did my thing. I could get promoted, and I might even still be there today if comedy hadn't come calling.
Yeah, but I bet you that was good fodder for, like...
Well, this is it, because I do interviews and people go, "Oh my God, being a female comedian must be so hard. How must it?" And
Is that your American accent?
Yeah, no. Oh my God, being a female comedian must be so hard. So hard. And they asked me that, and I'm like,
Nah, son, I did something else.
Compared to what I went through as an engineer,
Right.
where I'd be working on a building site and there'd be no female toilets, I'd have to pull my hard hat down and go into the men's toilet to take a dump.
Wow.
No. And coming in the morning and people have hung pictures of monkeys above my coat. Being a female comic is a walk in the park in comparison.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
So that is deep. That's deep. That's
It is.
deep.
It is. So what does your family think about you being over here, being a lesbian? Because Nigerians, they're very, very outspoken about everything.
Well, this is it. I'm illegal in Nigeria.
Okay.
So my mum was not pleased, obviously, but now she's cool.
Okay.
She's got to that age where I think my mum's got to that age where she no longer gives a fuck.
I know that's
When I
right.
first came out, she was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to tell my friends in Nigeria? I can't tell it. What? You are telling me you're a clown and a lesbian. Oh my God, a gay clown. I can't take it.
Oh
I
my
can't
goodness.
take
Did
it.
she really say gay clown?
Yeah, she did. And she was not happy.
You got your humor from your mom, I see.
Yeah, I did. My mom's hilarious. So she was not impressed with that. But my mom doesn't really care. It's just she wants me to have kids. So when I was like, yeah, but I could still have kids, she's like, oh, okay then. And after that, she didn't give a shit so much.
Right, that sounds like
she
my
just
mom.
wants me to have kids. She wants me to fulfill my womanly duties.
Oh, dear.
And have
Oh,
kids.
dear.
So she doesn't care so much. And she's met my girlfriend, and it's so funny. She loves her. Like, my mom doesn't like anybody.
Aww.
Like, nobody.
She must see your care for her, so she understands.
No, she just doesn't like. What happened was, like, because my girlfriend came to England with me one Christmas to spend time with my family, and my mum doesn't like anybody. And she's not. My mum only socializes with other Nigerians. She don't even like other black people, let alone people who are not
Really?
black. So, so I said to my girlfriend Nina, I said, okay, listen, when you meet my mum, don't try and hug her. She ain't touchy feely.
Don't touch.
She don't try and hug her because she doesn't even hug me. I have to bear hug her. I have to wrestle her into a hug. So don't touch her. Just say hello. Be respectful, and if she ignores you, don't take it personally. Just say hello and keep it moving.
Right.
So I said, and so I warned her of all this. I said, don't, my mum is not the friendliest.
Right.
So she was like, okay, fine. Now, I don't know when I told Nina that the Nigerian custom, like when you meet an older Nigerian, if you do this kind of one kneel thing, it's a show of respect. I don't really do it, but I've seen other people do it to my mum because my mum's from a very wealthy and famous family in Nigeria. So when people meet her, they do the whole kneeling thing.
Wow.
I don't know why I told Nina this. I don't know when I told her this.
She remembered it.
But she remembered it. The first time she met my mum, she did the whole kneel thing. And
She's a keeper. She's a keeper.
And then my mum was like, my mum literally looked at her like that. And that was it. My mum was in love with Nina from that day.
Sweet.
Loved her. And then so now my mum's always giving me things. Give this to your friend. She don't call her my girlfriend.
Oh, she doesn't say that.
Give this to your friend, Nina. Give it to your friend.
Aww.
This is for your friend. How is your friend? How is she? She good? Okay. So I was like, holy shit. My mum is never like any of my previous girlfriends.
Wow.
She was like, yeah, whatever. She never like... But
Nina found it. She found it.
Nina did that. I was like...
Go ahead, Nina. One
Eva,
point, Nina.
you are a genius. You are a genius.
Wonderful. Nina's a keeper. All right, Nina.
Yeah.
1 point.
Go Nina.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to marry her.
Uh-oh. She done heard it now. You can't go back now. It's all over the internet. She's going to be like, well, looking at you.
Well, we live together in New York, so it's a done deal pretty much.
Yeah, you can't move out of the house. You can't move out a flat, excuse me, in New York. You can't. Okay, so we're going to play a game now.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to explain it to you.
I see dice.
Yes, there are dice. These are my prize dice when I play Dungeons & Dragons.
All right.
I'm not going to explain what Dungeons & Dragons are because you're going to be
Please
like,
don't.
what? Okay.
Please don't.
However, these two die, right, are
Okay.
D20 because there are 20 sides to the dice, right?
All right,
Now,
okay.
the way this game is going to work, you are going to roll one of these depending if you get 1 to an 11, you get to ask me one of these embarrassing questions.
Cool.
If you get to an 11 to a 20, I get to ask you an embarrassing question. Okay?
Okay.
So I laminated it. It's all super very official here.
All right.
Okay?
I like this game.
You're ready? Oh, yay. Okay, good. So I'm going to move these other ones over, but, spread them out gingerly for the people watching, right?
All right.
Which of the D20 would you like to roll?
I like that one because it's bright. I thought it was the colour of my first motorbike. I'll go for that.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, and I will roll this one. So let's go. Roll. Come on.
1 to 11, 1 to 11, 1 to 11. 1 to 11, 1 to 11,
Come on,
1 to 11,
come on.
1 to 11.
13. Woohoo!
Shit! Okay.
So,
Yes.
I get to ask you question number 13. Which
Okay.
states, if you could invent anything, what would it be?
If I could invent anything.
Yeah.
I need a time travel thing. I need to travel through time. I wouldn't go too far back. I don't want to go back to slavery times because
Right.
those weren't fun times for us.
No,
But
don't go too
I
back.
would love to go into the future to see what's happening. I'd love to go
Really?
sideways, lateral. I want to travel also across, not even just time.
Yes.
Because I think there are other levels happening simultaneously. I want to
Yes.
travel laterally as well. I want to invent that
a time
thing.
machine.
A machine that moves through space and time.
Yes. You are talking to the right person. Have you ever
Yes.
heard of Doctor Who before?
Yes. I used to love Doctor Who.
You used to. Oh, she's
Yeah.
a Whovian too. Internet's just like me.
But my favourite Doctor Who was Tom Baker, which was probably before your time.
Well,
He was in the early 80s.
Yes, but I do
That was
know
my-
all of the classic doctors.
That was my Doctor.
Yes, well, we named
And
our
John
son
Pertwee.
after the fifth one. So,
Oh,
but
really?
okay.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right, all
I
right.
know about classic Who.
Okay.
But anyway, a time machine. And you know, Doctor Who, time is wibbly wobbly. It's not necessarily linear.
Exactly.
Oh, Gina, you just warm my little geeky heart.
Well, then there's a Dean Kuntz book that you need to read about
Tell
this
me.
kid who can transfer himself laterally. So there's different planes of existence all happening at the same time. So in this plane, he's blind, but in the other plane he can see, so he can use his eyes from the other plane for this plane. It's amazing. Can't remember what the name of the book is. I read it a few years ago, but it stuck with me. But yeah, I love all that stuff. I'm geeky like that.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Woohoo. Bye, Internet.
Bye, Internet.